Hatem Bazian, a professor of Middle East cultures and languages at the University of California, Berkeley. Always great to have you on, Professor. What do you think might happen at the White House later?
Well, we know that the negotiations are taking place. If I could define Israel's strategy, and this is going back all the way to the Oslo, is using negotiation as a way to cement and create facts on the ground. Indication comes that both Smotrich, Ben-Gvir, and Netanyahu see the opportunity to try to get Trump to agree on the annexation of typically Area C in the West Bank, which would be 60% of the current West Bank. So in here, using Gaza as the background in order to actually extract another major concession from the United States. Trump, on the other hand, wants to appear as the peacemaker. There is indication again that he wants to be nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. I don't know why, but that's again part of his psyche. He wants to always to outdo Obama. So in this sense, he wants to appear to be a person that is a peacemaker. And I think that in here we might see the negotiations taking place. The Qatar track, as we see, that the Israelis did not send their national security team. It did not come from the Shabak or Mossad or any from the national security. Actually, specifically, it was from Prime Minister Netanyahu political arm. And I do think that Netanyahu wants to rescue his political fortunes in Israel, considering that he's still facing the corruption charges. So it's really two political figures, Netanyahu and Trump, that are far more focused on their personal gains rather than anything of long-term strategic positioning.
Okay, interesting. So you're saying they both have something to offer the other in terms of what their ultimate goals are. But in terms of the guarantee that Hamas would want from the Americans, do you see any way that Washington would be able to guarantee no resumption of the war after a possible ceasefire?
I would say that nobody should trust the American guarantees when it comes to Gaza or it comes to the Palestinians. And this is going almost 50 years of U.S. supposed guarantees. Many of us remember that the United States guaranteed the evacuation of the Palestine Liberation Organization from Lebanon, guaranteeing the security and safety of the refugees. And immediately as the PLO was evacuated, Israel, with the phalangists, managed to carry out a massive massacre in the Sabra and Shatila. And just recently, when we had the negotiations over Gaza, the United States with Wishkov guaranteed or backed this agreement, and all know that Israel was the one that reneged on this agreement. So the United States guarantees goes through by Israel, and whatever Israel does, the United States will give it its cover. So I know that the negotiations are fluid, and Hamas and the Palestinians are attempting to try to get a 60-day ceasefire that leads to a permanent. The United States will always try to provide cover for Israel, and I would say the same will be in this case.
Professor, do you think we might actually be misreading the story completely? In other words, if there were to be a joint news conference at the White House after the meeting, and we hear actually they're talking about Iran, they're talking about the Abraham Accords, and then they just mention Gaza almost as an aside, could it actually be that Gaza isn't the main focus of this trip for Netanyahu at all?
Well, it is possible. As we know, the United States and Israel wants to continue to expand the Abraham Accord. I do think that yesterday the attack on Yemen indicates that Israel still wants to be the belligerent hegemon in the region. They still want to pursue another attack on Iran, considering Iran has completely withdrew, or at least in the process of withdrawing from the International Atomic Energy. There's discussions about Syria track. There's discussions about other countries. So Israel all along wants to isolate the Palestinians totally by engaging either in a bilateral negotiations with each of the Arab and Muslim countries surrounding the region, or to also expand its strategic depth in the periphery. And I do think that Palestinians are always trying to be left alone with Israel, the United States, and many participating, many players, including the Europeans, want to see this as the next step. So we might, as you accurately say, that Gaza might be that sideshow for the main show of Israel wanting to expand and cement its outreach and, I would say, total penetration of the Arab and Muslim world.
Professor Hatem Bazian, thank you so much.
You're welcome.